Hello, and welcome to our trig review for our parametric units. Today we're going to learn about sine, cosine, and tangent. And all of you guys know sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent, or the old SOHCAHTOA. If you don't know it, you should learn this as quick as possible. So in this situation, if I want to find the sine of G, the opposite side of G is over here. The hypotenuse is here, and this would be the adjacent. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so the sine of G is 3 over 5. The tangent of x, this is the opposite of x. This is the adjacent, and this would be the hypotenuse. So the tangent is opposite over adjacent, or 5 over 12. The cosine of x is, again, this is opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. And it's going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, so that would be 12 over the hypotenuse, which we don't know. However, we know that 5 squared plus 12 squared is going to be c squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem because this is a right triangle. So 169 is going to equal c squared, or c is going to be 13. So we can find the value if we don't have it. So cosine of x is going to be 12 over 13. The sine of theta here. Now, this is not the hypotenuse, so we're going to have to do 8 squared plus b squared is equal to 17 squared. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to subtract the 64 from both sides to get b squared equals 225, square root both sides, and we have 15. So since this side is 15, the sine is going to be opposite, which is 15, over the hypotenuse, which is 17. All right, in this situation, we have opposite, and this is hypotenuse. This is adjacent. So we take 40 squared plus b squared is equal to 41 squared. So 41 squared is 1,681. 40 squared is going to be 1,600. Maybe you can just tell from here, but b squared is equal to 81, so b will be 9. So my sine is going to be the opposite, which is 9, over the hypotenuse, which is 41. All right, now if I want to find this value for x, we know that that's the opposite. This is the adjacent of our angle, which is 41. Opposite over adjacent is tangent. So looking at the tangent of 41 is going to be 10 over x. Now we can cross multiply and divide, so 10 times 1 is 10. X times the tangent of 41 is x times the tangent of 41. Now we divide both sides by tangent of 41. And 10 divided by the tangent of 41 is equal to 11.5. All right. Now if I want to find x here, this is adjacent, and this is hypotenuse. So we could say the cosine of 31 is equal to adjacent, which is 32, over the hypotenuse, which is x. Cross multiply and divide, and we have 32 equals x cosine 31. Divide both sides by the cosine of 31, and we will have 32 divided by cosine 31, 37.3. So that side is 37.3 units long. All right, now if I want to find an angle, we know this is the adjacent, this is the hypotenuse, so I would say the cosine of my theta is going to be 20 over 23. So if I want to find that value, and it's between 0 and 180 degrees, I can just take the inverse cosine of 20 over 23 to be 29.59. So let's say 29.6. Just to do another one of those, here we have the opposite, and here is the hypotenuse. So the sine of theta is going to be 13 over 17. So theta will be the inverse sine of 13 over 17, which the inverse sine of 13 over 17 is 49.88, or 49.9. But one thing that you need to know is what a bearing is. A bearing is the degrees clockwise from north. It's like this bearing is 63 degrees, because from north we went 63 degrees clockwise. This bearing down here is 190 degrees. So if I go 190 degrees, that's that bearing, and this one's 290. So if I want to find what bearing is 5 degrees north of west, I draw my nice graph. West is over here, 5 degrees north will look something like this. So this is 90, 180, 270, so 275 degrees is going to be the bearing that's 5 degrees north of west. If I want to find the bearing that's 42 degrees east of south, what I do is I look at this, I say south is here. If I want to go do 42 degrees east of that, it'll look like this. And if that's 42, this here is going to be 48, and this is going to be 90. So this bearing is going to be 90 plus 48, which is 138 degrees. So that's what the bearing is going to be. What about 37 degrees east of north? So if I go north, if I go east 37 degrees, my bearing is also 37 degrees. Last one, what is the bearing that is 62 degrees west of north? If I go north and I go west of that 62 degrees, that means I'll have 28 degrees left over here, because those add up to 90. And so I have 90, 180, 270. So add 28 to that, and it's 298.